live from the Riot Games Arena in Berlin, Germany. It is the very last weekend we find ourselves in the LEC studio today in 2024, and there is so much on the line. A ticket to Munich, in fact, the last one between G2 and BDS, and for BDS, their chances of Worlds are on the line, because if they want to stay alive in that race, they have to beat G2 today. I've got Medic and Broxa. Broxa, the stakes couldn't be any better for today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. G2 back in form, BDS fighting for a world spot. What more could you want?
It's crazy. It all comes down to this for them, right? For BDS, for their year. It's insane to think about.
Yeah, it really is. And I think for BDS, they're kind of mad at MDK as well for beating G2 last week, because it could have been a lot of easier road for them. But in the end, if you're going to win anything in Europe, if you're going to represent Europe on the international stage, beating G2 is a very good way to do it.
It's such a good point. They saw MDK do what they couldn't do, and we can talk a little bit later about if maybe they have found some strategies to do that. But how did we get here? Last week was pretty short, Medic.
Yeah, it was really quick. A lot of 3-0s all around the world. I think watching BDS, they reverted to their roots. They had ice on hyper carries. They played with a double tank composition, and it just worked well for them. I wasn't surprised to see them succeed with that sort of composition.
Yeah, I think on G2's side, they kind of found their footing again, putting caps on marksman, playing more supportive junglers like Maokai and Ivan in the jungle, and just ultimately coming together as a team with a very, very strong early game.
Yeah, for G2, Broxa, it is that question of can they keep it going? They've won every single split and trophy this year in Europe. It's kind of our mini golden road. What would we call it?
Grand Slam, I think. The European Grand Slam.
European Grand Slam.
Good, right?
Or Bronze Road. Anyway, Broxa, so it would be very impressive if they pull it off, but it's also a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah, definitely. But I think the beautiful part of G2 is that we fought so many times during the year that somebody, often a Fnatic, could beat them. But every single time we started getting hope in a different team, they would just go beast mode and absolutely slam them. And I think this is really their comfort zone. Like, now they have a big chance after losing to MDK to showcase to all of us that they are really the best team in Europe by far.
Absolutely, and we'll see who waits, of course, in the final, because we have Fnatic versus MDK tomorrow. But you can grab your LEC season finals and EU Masters, EMEA Masters, Summer Finals 2024 tickets. It's all going down in Munich next weekend. lec.gg/Munich. Now, before we jump into the match between BDS and G2, let's see how both teams did in a new edition of Poppy Golf!
My name is unpronounceable, and I've designed 3 golf courses to bring our players the ultimate challenge. Welcome to GBs Poppy Golf.
And welcome back to GBs Poppy Golf for a season final special. The rules are simple. You have to get an enemy target dummy over to the ally target dummy in as few strokes possible. Your ultimate is your driver, which counts for 1, and your E is your putter, which also counts for 1. So let's get right into it.
Hole 1.
How confident are you, Adam?
I have no clue. I have legit no clue. I don't know how the angle works, but we'll see. Okay,
Do we have a ruler for him or anything? No, it's okay. And there it is. You've really cracked the tech on that one.
I'll do it like this.
Okay, that's
I want to be a bit fancy right now.
no one's ever done it like this before.
I know. Okay, let's see. Ah, shit.
Oh my god. Don't be nervous, it's okay, just... That's a fully charged ultimate, let's see if that's enough.
Oh, wait.
And in his first ever Poppy ultimate, Hans Sommer gets a hole-in-one. Oh, I'm gonna go all the way. And that is simply a hole-in-one from Caps. Incredible stuff. And where is that gonna land? Ooh, I don't mean to cast any shade, but your top laner did this get in one go. You're asking me, what do you need your E for? That's what you need your E for. It's still not in the bush, yo.
I have to use it again?
Yeah, you have to use it again. And that is 3 strokes
Okay.
on the first hole. Hole 2. Let's see. Oh, Cavs, that is very far. Pressure's on. Is that too far? Is it just enough?
No, what the hell?
It's a long charge, and this time you look shale.
Probably something like this.
Okay. Is it in? Oh my god, it's just outside of the bush, yike. That is pretty close. I'll give it a go. It's pretty far charged. Oh, that's actually just perfect, Adam.
Hole-in-one.
Oh my god.
Hole 3.
Oh, just outside again. Is that too long?
Ah, sadly.
It counts?
Yes, that counts. Yes, that counts. Oh.
But I did the least I could.
I'm not sure about that one. And that is it, Shale.
You suck.
How do you feel about the performance?
Pretty good. Pretty good performance.
Ooh, is that too much or is it just right?
You are goated
I
with
believe
the
that is our
sauce.
first perfect ever Poppy Golf, and I need to make a harder course for you because that was frankly amazing.
Thank you, thank you. I'm a bit, smart in a way. I know the lineups, kind of like in Valorant, like the bridge lineups,
Oh, yes,
like the
yes.
same with Poppy.
A different ride game. I like that plug. Very good. Now, I obviously need to make a harder course for next time, but that has been Poppy Golf for the season finals. We'll see you next time.
That's amazing. Adam's like that meme. It's like the trophy in Europe. Nah. Poppy Golf, I got this. But perhaps I'm underselling them because BDS is very much still in the running. And it all comes down to this, Odo.
Yeah, I'm still in shock that the person I least expected to play Poppy ever in his life is the guy who just smurfed that Poppy
Did
Golf.
we just, like, F over their scrims or something? And maybe he has actually secretly only
It
been
was
playing Poppy?
clean. It was clean.
was
because-
Leaked.
Yeah, leaked. Who knows? Hey, let's talk about BDS versus G2. It really all comes down to this for both of them. We talked already about the fact that G2, of course, wants to win that fourth trophy as well. But for BDS, Odawamne, can you imagine kind of the pressure that goes into this single best-of-5, one that they haven't won all year versus G2?
It is immense because, as you said, they have never ever won, I think, a best-of series against G2. And their overall game score looks also quite poor. And I feel like they find themselves in a situation where I was before with Rogue when we won in Malmo. We were leading up into that series, barely winning against G2. I don't think we, again, had like a positive win ratio or anything against them. And there's a lot of happening behind the scenes as well because you scrimmed this team for pretty much the whole year. And you're probably getting smashed there as well, and it's not looking pretty. So I think there's a lot of factors that would help for their mental coming to this series because they need to do some extraordinary things to pull this through.
Yeah, if you could look at it from the other side, you're mentioning Malmo and Broxa, that's also the side of it, right? If you ever wanted to beat them or had to beat them, in fact, you only have to do it today in order to keep all of your dreams alive, so.
Yeah, and I think while it obviously can be scary having your backs against the wall, they are coming in as the underdog. They are coming in with, I would say, a pretty small amount of pressure. And to me, we've already seen them playing their own style against G2 many
Hang on,
times.
small amount of pressure?
Well, everybody expects G2 to win today. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, I see,
They're
I see.
playing for a world spot,
Yeah.
right? But anyone's going to predict G2 to win at least.
I see.
That's what I imagine. And in that sense, you just need to come in with something crazy, some spice. Last week we saw Adam playing the likes of Casio top, Kennen that he hasn't played much in the past. Like, any surprises is what I want to see them bring to the table. Aggression, catch G2 off guard, because maybe with that kind of mindset, you can surprise and you can win the series.
Maybe indeed. Let's keep talking about those special picks in just a second. But Law right now is standing by with FLICKR in the Marriott Bonvoy pregame lobby.
FLICKR, thank you so much for joining me ahead of today, an important day, if that is, but against an opponent that you actually know quite well. So I want to talk about an outside of the game aspect because facing G2, having more often than not the same results, I'm just wondering what kind of job you've been doing with the players to prevent them from having either a mental block or at least be in the best mindset, best mental disposition to face against G2 today.
I mean, what we did is mainly focusing on ourselves, right? Because whichever team you play, in the end, you just have to be better than them on the day. And for that, you have to get better yourself. So that's how we tackled it, yeah.
That's what I find interesting, peaking at the right moment, being ready at the right moment. What kind of an indicator you can find that's going to let you know today is going to be the day? Because looking at the way you guys started season finals, not the greatest, but then last week was phenomenal. So how would you rate the performance you have and the stability mostly that BDS has right now?
I think that we, as you said, even our summer split was not the greatest, right? But I think that we found our pace. I think that we found also pleasure in practice, which maybe at some point we did lose. And right now, I think everyone is happy with the team and inside the team. And at least for us as a group, this is the biggest indicator.
And focusing on G2 now, on the other side, they had a weird series against Mad Lions, but then came back crushing GX last week. What's your understanding of G2? I know that there's always a really, really high expectation, but what do you think defines G2 right now, if you had to be really careful about one specific aspect?
I think they are a versatile team, right? I think that they had different approach between the Mad Lions and the GXBO. It was quite clear on the draft. So I think you have to respect their versatility mainly and be ready for many stuff on the draft side. Yeah.
All right, last question here. This is war mode today. Playing your season, basically, if you want to keep the dream alive for BDS, what are you going to tell your players before they step on stage?
I'm not even sure yet. That will happen in the moment, I guess. But the main thing is we need to play without pressure. We need to focus on playing together as a unit. And I believe that we have all of our chances.
Oh. Yeah. Best of luck today, Striker.
Thank you.
Bonne chance. And de retour à you, Shox. That was weird. Back to you, Shox.
Merci, dankjewel. Just to make sure that we weren't the only one. Our brains sometimes mess up. It's normal. You're interviewing a French person. Odo, I saw you perk up when he answered that first question about, you know, you can't really look at the opponent. You got to focus on yourself. We've heard it a couple of times from BDS.
We heard it a couple of times, yeah, and it didn't really work out, especially in the case of G2. So I'm wondering if it was maybe just a PR answer and they did a lot of it behind the scene, because that's what I'm expecting, and I'm excited to see it today because I think also with Adam, I think he's going to be a standout today because we already seen before he adapted his champion pool, went away from gods. Now he has a lot of different champions, Camille, On, Cassiopeia, Kennen. That abbreviation doesn't really work, but let's move on.
Yeah.
But we saw MDK tackle this against G2 because in their series, they utilized double flex a lot. Red side was really, really good given how usually red side is very weak in LEC. They made it work very well with the flex picks and the unique picks from top lane.
And I'm very curious to see how this top matchup is going to go, because we saw a strong Adam, but also a very powerful Broken Blade in the previous series. And a lot of magic is going to have to happen in the top lane for BDS for this to go right. And we have seen Adam and Sheo have great synergy in the past. We've seen both junglers move towards the Ivor and the Maokai, the Sejuani. So these utility-style junglers will have to head there and get that advantage.
That's why I really like what BDS has been doing. They've been moving back to the roots because their experiment so far this season didn't really work with empowering Sheo and putting him on the funny champions. Adam back to the funny champions, Sheo back in the cage playing Maokai, Sejuani, all of these utility champions that empower their lanes, because BDS does have strong lanes. Ice has been great the whole year. Adam, when he's allowed to counter pick and do a lot, it looks really, really good, because what he did last week, I was really impressed by it because it reminded us of what MDK did versus G2.
Yeah, and the big question for this series for me would also be like, is this going to be kind of the avenue? I do want to ask for your predictions and to motivate them a little bit. And I think I know where it's going to go, regardless of all the building up of BDS, which would set the stage. Broxa.
Yeah, this is going to feel a bit odd after we've been trying to look for ways for BDS to actually get an advantage here. But honestly, when I look at these two teams, I think some of their strengths are pretty clear in terms of their synergy, their team fighting, their objective setup, and macro. Both are really good at playing by the book, and when they get an advantage, they very rarely throw it away. The issue for BDS is that G2 is slightly better in every single one of these aspects, and therefore I'm going to predict 3-0 for G2.
Boom.
I predicted 3-1 for G2 as well, but I really would like to see BDS tackle G2 like MDK did, where they attack them, not when the fight is going to happen at Drake. Attack them when the setup is going to happen for the Drake, because that's the only way to stabilize, destabilize G2, because so far, they're not going to tackle BDS and attack them at these objective setups the way everyone else does.
Yeah, they can't play the way they've always played versus G2. I think that is a kind of the big question here, if they'll be able to change it up. It's G2 versus BDS. Again, we've seen this matchup so many times, and G2 came out on top every single time. Can BDS finally overcome their nemesis, or will G2 secure the final spot in Munich? Let's find out.